has been so patient and been able to foul off pitches when they need to and sit back on pitches and drive pitches. Had really nice quality at bats. And Andrews is not fishing. So full count, bases loaded, payoff pitch.
There may be something to be said about the fact that this lineup saw her on Friday. They got to see her for a few innings because nothing really replaces game reps like that. So they did get to see her. She got to see them at the same time. But I think the patience that Cal is having has been the key for them this inning.
Oh! Anders on the money. Right at Brooke Nelson at first base, snags the line drive, steps on one for the double play, gets Washington out of a huge inning. Could not have been hit any harder. Nice heads-up softball. Huskies got to get to work offensively. In Fricky Field, top of the 5th inning, and it's a close one. Washington still up 5-4. A big double play to end a bases loaded threat last half inning. We had Anders up. We've seen what Anders have been doing the last couple of days. Just smacked a line drive right at Brooke Nelson at first base. She stepped on first for the double play to get out of the inning. But Washington looking to get back to work offensively. Olivia Johnson is going to lead things off.
And that's why that cushion was important for Washington. You know, being able to get themselves not just 1 run on that home run, but 3, giving them some of that space that they could lean on. You know, they still have the lead, so now they just try to add to it. But without that moment, it's a very different ball game right now.
And what Halagia needs to do now is get right back to work. Defensively, let your team make plays, get your team back in the dugout. Got a lot of offensive momentum. You don't want to lose that in a long half inning.
And Washington did get a little bit of defensive momentum there at the end as well. And sometimes you can take that energy into the offensive side of the game. And so if they were to build on that now with Ojo, and there you go, there she is on base.
So Halagian going to a similar pitch that Gabby Plain was throwing. Gabby Plain wasn't getting the call. Sona not getting the call. It's been that inside corner to the righties that's been trouble.
That's the thing. Washington has 3 hits so far. Cal has 4 hits so far, yet it's a 5-4 game. So that really does show how much the walks have impacted this game offensively.
Well, Washington started their last at-bat with a walk. Silent Rain Espinoza started this inning off with a walk. The last inning they had scored those 3 runs. Then Cal started that last offensive inning with 2 walks. So yeah, a lot of base runners given free passes. So Megan Vandergriff walked in her first at-bat. Reached on an error her last at-bat. And Sona Halagian, a big strikeout. Catches Vandergriff looking.
It's a good job trying to tip that momentum back in Cal's direction, because when you have that nice double play and then you get the first runner on with the walk, Washington can start to feel a little bit confident, but to kind of put a plug into that right now is important for Halagian.
So Brooke Nelson had a sacrifice fly her first at-bat that scored a run, flew out to right field in the 3rd. takes a big hack.
Nelson being the one who made that fantastic double play in the field coming into this, now trying to switch gears as a hitter. But again, versatility at work for Washington.
And Nelson could at any point jump in from first base and do a little pitching. And she'll take ball 3. Three and 1. Cal would love nothing more than to flash the leather again, turn a little double play. It's been fun to watch the defense this weekend.
Ooh, what a take on that. That one was over the white.
I know you think 3-1, hitter's pitch. She's got to bring it close. But I don't know, we've seen a lot of pitches miss that look close, so. And then gets her on the rise ball.
It's a gutsy call. You have to have confidence in that pitch to do that with 3 balls. It's a full count. You're willing to throw that rise ball you know is going to end out of the zone. That's some good confidence. She just spins that right up above the barrel.
They almost got away with the pitch before, and then a gift given on that last one. But a really pretty pitch. Silent Rain Espinoza, first pitch swinging. 0 for 1 today, walked back in the 4th. And that led off the 4th inning, which turned into a 3-run inning, compliments of Kinsey Fiedler.
Espinoza's really due. We talked about how she's had a slower start offensively, even though she's been super solid defensively. What a time it would be for her to come through right now for Washington.
And a good take. Johnson still over at first base. 1 for 1 in stolen bases. Espinoza, big swing, back to the wall. Zobak runs it down, and that'll do it for the top of the 5th inning. Well, the Huskies get the lead off on base, but not able to score a run. The score stands at 5-4. Washington still in the lead. And we're in the bottom of the 5th inning. Washington up by 1. Cal generated a lot of offensive momentum the last inning before it was smothered by a double play, compliments of Brooke Nelson over at first base. But Anders, man, right on the money again. Having a weekend. Gabby Plain back out in the circle.
Struggled a bit just an inning ago, and we still don't see any activity in the Washington bullpen. So it looks like Coach Heather Tarr wanting Gabby Plain to work through this.
And a nice first pitch strike to Sona Halajian.
On Friday, Gabby Plain didn't give up a single walk, already 4 so far today in her relief appearance. Just an inning pitched under her belt so far.
That's another thing you use the preseason for, and some of the beginning of Pac-12, is to figure out your pitchers and who does best in a starting role and who can come in what situation, and wanting to get pitchers an opportunity to be in every role just in case they're needed. So Gabby Plain, you can start her every game, but there are going to be times you need to bring Gabby Plain into a game and put her in that relief role.
It's not a situation that Washington has found themselves in very often this season either. Coming off of the loss yesterday, bringing Gabby in relief, you know, they're trying to fight back, they're trying to punch back, because this really has been a dogfight the entire weekend. Just back and forth between both teams, a lot of fight, a lot of energy. It's a really exciting end to the series so far today as well.
And Halajian goes 3-1. And you just have the feeling that a win just propels that momentum going into the rest of Pac-12 play. And for both of these teams, what a boost of confidence for Cal to take the series from Washington, something they haven't done in a number of years. For Washington going into UCLA next weekend, you want to go in with a couple of wins and Pac under your belt.
We talk about just how much of a gauntlet this conference slate is for every single team in the Pac, but really it's a situation where iron sharpens iron in that way as well. You know, you can let that beat you down with how hard it is to fight every single weekend through these series, or you can let it make you better. And at the end of the day, that's what you're trying to do. That's what Chelsea Spencer wants. That's what Heather Tarr wants. How can you be better from it? And fighting through adversity is a huge step in that.
Off the end of the bat, over to Klingler at shortstop. Nice throw across the diamond for the first out. And that's the way you want to do it. Come out, get that first out.
Yeah, that first out had been a little bit elusive for the past couple innings, really on both sides. So just to, again, just get it, check it off the list. You know, just get that monkey off your back so you can keep rolling.
We've only had one on each side, 3 up, 3 down innings. One for Cal, one for Washington. All others, we've had base runners.
There's that Gabby Plain smile we were talking about back on Friday. Very laid back personality. She talks about how people tell her, you know, she's so smiley. She seems like she's smirking out there sometimes, but really to her, she's like, I'm just hanging out. I'm just trying to compete. You know, I'm not really thinking about that stuff.
So Casey Zobak, 0 for 2 today. Zobak has a number of multiple hit games this season, 6 of them. She had a 3-hit game back versus Hawaii. So been a little quiet at the plate this series, but definitely has potential.
On her, even yesterday, wasn't a hit, but ultimately that ground out that resulted in an RBI with the bases loaded in the 3rd inning, that was key for Cal, right? So we talk about that, and it seems to keep popping up as a theme where good things happen when you put the ball in play.
Two-two count, 1 out. bottom of the 5th inning. Plane missing wider than normal.
Her pitch count's just a little bit higher, at least pacing that way, given the walks falling behind a little bit.
And a nice pitch, high fly ball. That'll be foul rundown. In foul territory.
That first out was big to start off this inning, but if Gabby Plane can get 2 outs in a row, that's also been something that's been tough, again, for both sides in this ball game. That's going to be a step in the right direction as well.
And not to look too far ahead. No, we won't even go there. I'm starting to look further down and who you would be facing in that last inning and what that would look like and how important it is to get 3 up and 3 down. But let's just go one hitter at a time. Just misses.
That's her 5th walk in just an inning and a third so far in this game. It's really out of character. But again, we have to give credit, like we said before, to Cal for the patience that they're showing in the box.
Deasia Psyche. Coming up, runner on first base. Cal down by 1. Psyche 0 for 1 today. She drew a walk back in the 4th.
Psyche with that 162 batting average, but Coach Spencer said doesn't really reflect. She's been hitting some hard line drives right at people, so eventually something's got to fall.
And a nice stop by Cummings. One pitch. And that's the location Gabby Plane is trying to hit on that outside corner.
That's that part of the plate that has been tough. The outside corner to the lefty, the inside part of the plate to the righty. But you're right, making a little bit of an adjustment here, at least in this inning compared to the last, to sneak some strikes in there. I think for both teams too, the key right now is to keep the energy up, right? Like there was so much that happened that you almost still feel like you're recovering from all of the action in the last couple of innings. But just to make sure you keep on your toes at all times, whether it's defensively or in the box.
Yeah, I think you're right. And a lot of that has to do with the pace of the pitching also. So as a pitcher, you do want to go out, you want to throw strikes, you want to keep your defense engaged and not create a lull to where there's silence and the team becomes aloof.
And that's why, especially as infielders, but outfielders as well, like get your feet moving before the play, right? Because it's easier to keep going versus have to start up your momentum to react.
And we've got a full count. Still just one out. Runner on first. And Plain just really attacked the zone in that pitch. You could feel the difference between when she's missing on the outside part of the plate and when she's really attacking the hitters, and hasn't really come hard inside on many of these lefties. He's tried to stay away and has found a little bit better corner on that outside corner. And a walk for Psyche. That'll bring out Coach Lance Glasso.
And he's really well versed in managing these Washington pitchers. You know, he's been at UW. He joined in 2008. He was the pitching coach during that 2009 National Championship run. They were the National Coaching Staff of the Year award winners as well. Coach Danielle Laurie, Caitlin Inglesby, Taryn Alvello, and as well as Gabby Plain. There's been 9 All-American honors amongst that group since he's been there. A trio of Pac-12 Pitchers of the Year. You know, the list goes on in terms of accolades, but he's the type of person that you want in this situation to have this conversation with Gabby Plain to try to get the train back on the tracks.
But you've got a pitcher out there also that has been here.
Yes.
She's 5th year in the circle. She's experienced. She's an Olympian. You have a little more grace for your pitcher in this situation because we, fans, us, viewers, we want to see the best version of Gabby Plain every single time she goes out there. And the fact is, it just doesn't happen like that.
Right.
So pitchers have down days also, but we were talking earlier, you put your cards on Gabby Plain. You know, even when she's having not a stellar performance, not a great day, not her best, you still think she can pull that out, and you still think that's good enough for the win.
That's something that we used to talk about back when I played in the Pac. We would say, like, how you feeling today? And the answer would be good enough to win. You know, sometimes that's it. It just needs to be good enough to win. And that happens when you continue to compete. And that's something that she's not going to stop doing. Even if she misses a spot here or there or falls behind the count, she's still every pitch mentally and physically competing.
And what I like too is I feel like we see the same Gabby out there. Like her demeanor is the same. She carries herself the same. Her pacing is the same. Her routine is the same. Her look is the same. Her smirk is the same. Whether she's doing her best or she's struggling, you get the same pitcher in the circle, and that consistency is really key for the team. Sophie Medellin at the plate. She's down 1 ball, 2 strike. Coach Chelsea Spencer coming out with the lineup card. Making a pinch running change, so we'll see Mika Lee.
Yeah, the freshman, and potentially just being in that scoring position over there at second base. You got less than 2 outs. Chelsea Spencer is probably noodling on that for a little bit and just decided to pull the trigger.
Medellin takes a nice swing.
That even-keeled demeanor that you were talking about with Gabby Plain, Amanda, that also is all of her experience at work. That is the result of all of the time and the years and the innings that she has put in to battle through things at her best, at her worst. That's a result of that, and that's really what makes you great also, when you can stay even. You don't get too high, you don't get too low.
And a nice pitch by Plain.
As someone who knows what it's like to participate in the Olympics and compete at this college softball level and one of the best conferences in the country, how much does that international experience play into what you take to the college game?
I think it just makes you a more well-rounded pitcher. You face different types of hitters, and you really have to be flexible in your approach as a pitcher. And yeah, because every country is a little bit different. The competition, the level of competition is very different.
I'd imagine it almost forces you to be more even-keeled because you see all kinds of different styles. Like, you just have to stay consistent with what you can control, right? Like, there's so many other things, other factors, but if you're used to seeing all kinds of different approaches, then nothing surprises you anymore.
So runner on first and second base, and ground ball to Silent Rain Espinoza. She goes to second for the force out. Lee moves over to third, so now runners on the corner.